Alright, so, this is a review of 2019's Child's Play. This actually caught me off guard. I had no idea that this was even being made. And now that I do know, I think it's a horrible idea. And now that I've watched it, I know it was a horrible idea. The only thing that I think that they even got close to right was getting Mark Hamill to play the voice of Chucky, even though I don't see why Brad Dourif couldn't do it. That is Chucky. I mean, that's Charles Lee Ray. That's the guy who died, who became Chucky. Of course, in this version, that's not what happens. Just so you know, this is going to be chock full of fucking spoilers. So if you don't want to be spoiled, don't watch this fucking video. Spoilers. Now, so far, without including this god-awful piece of shit, there's 7 Child's Play movies. Child's Play 1, 2, 3, and then there's Bride of Chucky, Seed of Chucky, fucking Curse of Chucky, and Cult of Chucky. Now, the main problem I have with putting out a new Child's Play right now is that last year you just came out with the newest installment of the original Child's Play franchise. And while that's still hugely in effect, it was either last year or the year before. Don't get anal on me, all right? While that's still in effect, you go back to the first one and redo it. So basically, what just happened 2 years ago is completely invalid at this point because you've redone all that in the new Child's Play. Now, just to be clear, if nobody knows, okay, I know this isn't really a spoiler because fucking Child's Play's been out for 34 years or some crazy shit. The whole story of Child's Play is about a fucking killer named Charles Lee Ray, who was played by Brad Dourif, who gets chased by a cop, killed in a toy store, and uses a voodoo ritual to implant his soul into the toy to continue to live until he can find a replacement body to do the voodoo and resurrect himself. Okay? That's basically the plot of Child's Play 1, 1980, whatever. So the next 6 movies that came out after that are all off of that premise. It's a voodoo ritual, and Chucky's trying to get his body back. Or a body back. The rules on that kind of change constantly. Even though, see the thing, Child's Play is the most cohesive slasher horror fucking franchise because they were all written by the same fucking dude, Don Mancini. He wrote them all, okay? They even talked to him about, I knew about the TV show that they're talking about. They even talked to him about the TV show. But for some dumbass reason, they didn't talk to him about redoing the first Child's Play, or at least he's not involved in it. So say the credits of the fucking movie. Of course, it's based on his character, so they have to give him that credit. But the screenplay was written by some fucking dude named Burton Smith or some shit, and it's a horrible screenplay. You can tell this motherfucker has been watching Black Mirror on Netflix. Season 5, Episode 3, Rachel, Jack, and Ashley 2. I mean, you can blatantly see the influence of that episode with this movie, okay? It's almost like Burton Smith took the script from that Black Mirror episode and just threw Chucky in it. Because it's basically the same thing. Basically, they have a fucking toy that by the way, this is spoilers. Right there. Alright. They're just called Buddy, and then the new one's Buddy 2. And they sing this stupid song, which isn't the My Buddy song that, you know, Child's Play fans remember. It's some new stupid shit. They didn't even use the same little jingle, you know. Do, 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 do. Yeah, they didn't even use that in this movie, which is almost offensive when they take a horror franchise and reboot it without any of the things that made people like the fucking franchise to begin with. It's a bad idea. As Chucky's being built, now let me rephrase, as the Buddy doll is being built in the factory, the employee that's handling quality control or the coding for the behavior or whatever is mistreated And to get revenge, he turns off all the fucking safeguards on the doll. You know, like the language safeguards, the behavioral safeguards. So basically, it's just an unchecked buddy AI that can do whatever the fuck it wants and connect to any technology that it wants. And that's the real thing that's a bite from the Black Mirror episode. This version of Chucky can wave his little E.T. He also has an E.T. finger. Apologies. E.T. finger. He has it. It doesn't heal people, though. His finger actually fucking lights up like E.T.'s. Okay? And it syncs up with any wireless technology, including other My Buddy dolls, or My Buddy and Buddy 2 dolls. And he can control them. And remote control cars, and fucking drones, and TVs, and computers. And you literally, this person took Black Mirror, Terminator, and Chucky, and smashed them all together. Actually, you know what? Let's not use Terminator. Let's use iRobot. Some Isaac Asimov shit. Okay? He mashes them together, and that's what you come out with. The name Chucky doesn't refer to a killer anymore. It's just a random name that the AI picked for some dumbass reason. Okay? And basically, they're trying to promote the idea that movies, video games, and perceived violence turns you into a fucking killer. Okay? Which is another big problem I have with this fucking movie. That it's basically a blank AI, and because a bunch of fucking parentless, irresponsible kids teach this thing, you know, fucked up shit and let it watch horror movies, then it thinks that stuff is fun, and it starts killing people to prove how much of a friend it is to Andy. Let's not forget that the actual doll looks terrible. I mean, it looks horrible. The one that David Kirshner did in Curse of Chucky looks like a fucking masterpiece by comparison to this fucking E.T. plastic-faced fucking thing. And the mother is the annoying girl from fucking Scott Pilgrim versus the World, who shouldn't ever be playing a mother at all. And it's like a picture-perfect version of a terrible mother who only cares about getting dick, not taking care of her kid. And this is what happens. Chucky is what happens when you don't parent your kids. Is basically what it boils down to, really. I mean, the subtext in this movie isn't even subtext anymore. It's like right up in your face, you know? Like somebody took the word subtext, made it out of wood, and smashed you over the face with it. It's not a good movie. If you've ever watched A Child's Play, even the horrible Seed of Chucky, if you've watched that, okay, you probably won't like or understand this version at all. At least I didn't. Of course, I don't like much. If any of you have watched any of my videos, you know that by now. There is not much that I actually like. And when it comes to remakes, I think almost all of them are absolute dog shit. Because you can tell, like, they don't even try to, like, disguise the fact that they're just trying to make money off of it anymore. Literally, it's just a dollar sign with Chucky painted on it. You know? That's what it's come to. And it's become that with everything. But this movie is god-awful. It's horrible. Now, don't get me wrong. There are a few parts that will actually make you chuckle. Okay? Some parts are really funny. Other parts are annoying as shit. Like when the cop tries to arrest like a fucking 12-year-old. And then when the mother steps in, he goes, "I don't have to tell you why I do anything." No, actually, I'm pretty sure if you arrest a 12-year-old, you have to tell them why you're arresting a 12-year-old. You can't just arbitrarily arrest 12-year-olds and, well, unless you're an ICE agent. Ooh. No, it's just bad. It's bad. Like, anybody who says that they're Andy's friend gets put on Chucky's shit list, like, right out of the gate. You know? Like, one of his neighbors is a cop who watches after his mother, and so he goes to see the mother and has dinner with her, and Chucky hears her go, "Oh, Andy, you're my best friend," and that right there puts puts this poor old woman on Chucky's shit list. And I mean, like, he doesn't even kill her quick. Like, he draws that shit out. He drives her. See, that's the other thing, too. Somehow Chucky becomes fucking, like, autonomous and has the ability to control a fucking smart car Uber kind of deal. Like, they have this thing in the movie called, was it Canland Cars or some shit like that? And it's basically you can call for an Uber that's a smart car, so there's no human driver. It's just the car. It takes you from point A to point B. And somehow Chucky controls that car. But aside all the other shit that I have a beef with about 2019's Child's Play, okay? The real problem I have, like the number one spot, Hall of Fame, Level 8 Mario Brothers issue I have with the movie might seem trite, but it's really not. Especially when you're talking about a fucking reboot or a remake or a revamp or a remaster or whatever version of Child's Play this is supposed to be. Whatever parallel universe it might take place in, the main issue is something very simple. Seeing as this is a version of Child's Play, it's not an original, it really has to try hard not to become tacky and cheap. But on top of that, it has to throw a shout out to the original. It has to. Whether it be a line of dialogue, a little Easter egg, something somewhere, there has to be that, oh, Child's Play, 1980, whatever. You have to give it that shout out, you know, even if it's just like a nostalgic something or other. They didn't do anything to do an homage, a shout out to the original Child's Play. Even the final line in Child's Play, you know, where Andy's like, this is the end, friend. Here, actually, you know, I'm not even going to fucking do it injustice here.
Andy, no, please. We're friends to the end, remember?
This is the end, friend.
That whole section it's the kid doesn't even say it. The fucking cop says it, and he doesn't even say it right. He just goes, this is the end. And then on top of that, you know how in horror movies, though, okay, this is a divergent point. This isn't attached to the main reason. This is just something else that just, you know, I'm ranting. It's a rant/review of this god-awful, wretched, inbred version of fucking Child's Play. Ugh. It's also much more believable if it's one kid and the big bad versus the world. It's more believable, especially when the kid, it's an actual kid, not a teenager, but a fucking kid. We're talking about a 10-year-old, okay? It's more believable when it's that way, okay? Especially for this cock-driven, horrible mother that is in this version of Child's Play. In the original Child's Play, the mother was a single mom. She got shafted by the dad. She's busting her ass working a makeup counter at fucking Macy's, cutting whatever legit corners she can to try to make her goddamn kid happy. Okay? She's a good mom. In this one, it's like this cock-driven, I couldn't give a fuck about my kid as long as I'm getting dick mother. Like, that's literally what she's throwing off. She doesn't give a fuck that the guy's abusive toward the kid, or that he drinks all the fucking time, or that he fucking talks to her like a piece of shit. She doesn't care about any of that as long as she gets to suck on his dick or get fucked by him. And this is fucking further illustrated by every time the guy walks in the room, he's buttoning up his pants or wiping his mouth off or putting his dick away. Like, and then the kid is obviously like, I don't want none of that, and walks out the room, and the mom is like, why aren't you staying? Well, gee, because I just watched her boyfriend tuck his post-fucking-coital dick back in his pants. Like, why in the fuck do I want to stand around for that? Like, this, she's a horrible mother, is what I'm trying to say. But it's fucking ridiculous. Okay? It's a shitty movie. If you've ever watched Child's Play, you're not gonna like this. If you're a fan of Child's Play, you're gonna fucking hate this version. Okay? And if you've never seen any of the previous 7 Child's Play movies, you might actually enjoy this movie, because you'll have no frame of reference. Which is why people like the X-Men movies and the Fantastic Four movies, because they've never seen what it's supposed to be. You have no context for how awesome it could be, so you get this half-assed crap version of it, and you're okay with that because you don't know that it can be any better. Which is a shitty excuse for accepting mediocre crap. It really is. In the overall, I am giving this Child's Play a 3 out of fucking 10. I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 10. Fuck Rotten Tomatoes. Fuck Metacritic. Fuck Google. Fuck all that shit, okay? I am giving it a 3 out of fucking 10. 3 out of 10. It can't get any better. It's only gonna go downhill from here if they continue with whatever the fuck this is. That's my review of 2019's Child's Play. Sorry, Mark Hamill.